Alrighty. Hello. Welcome. I can't remember the last time we've actually did a stream. Well, no, that's a lie. I remember what it was. It was the police armory stuff, but goodness, that was, what, 3 years ago? At least? Surely. Anyway. Welcome. Oh, come on, OBS. Why are you doing this to me? I blame the update. Let's try and get that Visual Studio back up on the screen. There we go. No? Still? Come on now. There we go. Third time's a charm. 2 years ago. Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. It has been a hot minute. Anyway, so today we are going to be doing some vMenu. Specifically, we are going to be adding a feature suggested by Ashley A. Musicshare, which I thought was quite good, which is, if I swap to the video game, as anyone who has used vMenu before will know, one of the biggest pains of vMenu is that when you are trying to edit character, you have a lot of options. Shirt overlay jacket, 575 options. And that's just base game. This has no EUP. So for servers with EUP, that number can be massive. And trying to flick through it quickly in a timely fashion can be a gigantic pain. Especially if, like, you hear at the beginning you're at number 29 and you know that you need, like, item 300, but there's no good way to get to it. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a keybind that you can press when you have this menu open that will take you directly to the item that you want to have selected. Sounds simple enough. We'll find out how simple that actually is. Alright. So, first things first, we need to create a new branch for vMenu. Did I fix the typo? Probably not. To be honest, there is with respect to vMenu, it's a very good vim resource, but it has a lot of things that need improvement, a lot of typos, a lot of systems and stuff that need to be rewritten. So it's kind of a balancing act between just continuously pushing out bug fixes and also putting out features, which is what people want. So anyway, all right, we have our branch pinned in our DMs. All right, I'll have a look later, maybe. Okay, so vMenu is broken up into multiple menus. We are looking for the npped customization menu. Specifically, we're looking at the character clothing options, which is the appearance menu. That's another thing that irks me about vMenu is, unfortunately, a lot of the variable names don't match up nicely with what you're actually looking for. But anyway, see if we can't find where this is created. Okay. That's a lot. Thankfully, we don't actually need to do anything with that. I am looking for event handlers, because what I'm thinking of doing, instructional buttons, here we go. What I'm thinking of doing is hijacking the on-click or the item select event handler. So that way, instead of having to run a separate loop continuously checking for a keybind or having to do some kind of key mapping, what I'm thinking is I'll just have a little event handler that basically just says when an item is selected in the list, if the control button is also pressed at the same time, bring up the input. I suspect that's going to be the easiest way to go about it. Alright, so we've got a on-list index change and another on-list index change. Interesting. And that's it. Okay, so we'll add a new event handler just in here with the rest of them. Going to be an appearance menu on list item select. I don't know what parameters it takes. Let's have a look. Menu list item selected index. Cool. Alright. I'll actually be lazy and I'll copy those. Save me writing them out by hand. Probably won't need them, but better to have them and then get rid of them than not have them and need them. Alright, so for starters, let's exclude stuff that we don't want to do. Okay, never mind. I was going to say we need to add checks for like buttons, like go back or exit, whatever, but this entire menu is chock-a-block full of list items, so we don't actually need to do anything like that, so that's nice. Let's just add a proof of concept quickly, just to make sure that my idea about hijacking this event works the way I think it will. So what we'll do is we'll just do a bool is control pressed equals game dot is control just pressed to int control index equals 0. Select that in there, and then we want control dot crouch. Crouch? No. Oh no, no. No, I'm thinking of like a Source game or something. Crouch. No, we want the left control button. I'm bringing up the rocks on another screen. I wonder if I can bring that over. Yes, I can. Excellent. Alright. Left control. Input front RS. I think there's another one with a different abbreviation. Maybe. Yeah, I thought so. I feel like there's one way earlier. Yeah. Ah, duck. Ah, crouch. Duck. Potato, potato. Okay. And then we will just debug that to the console. No, I also realized I assigned 0 to a variable and then didn't use it. Whoops. Alright, let's build that and give it a crack. Interesting. I've managed to break it without actually changing anything significant. That is impressive. There we go. Yeah, the server DLL must have been out of date. Whoopsies. Ah, it occurs to me I might have done an oopsie here. Have I done this on the player customization? Oh no, I've done it on the MP pad, so it should be in the correct menu. Nope, that didn't appear to work. Oh, what I've done? I've done it in this menu. Yes. I put it on the wrong menu. I'm after the character clothes menu. That's okay. That's a pretty simple fix. We're just going to go back to the top. Get our clothes menu instead. Come back down to where we were working. Whee. There we go. Change that out to that. Change that. Go back. Cut this and put it in the correct section. Ah, there's already on list item select, so that's fine. We can just hijack the existing event. Attempt 2. Well, that isn't working as we would hope it would. Ah, no, I know what's wrong. I've done an is control just pressed, which will be frame perfect, which is not what we want. We just want to know if it's pressed full stop. aka is the control held down? I just heard someone fall and die. Never changed, GTA, never changed. Alright. There we go. Beauty. Cool. So that's our proof of purchase. Proof of concept, rather. Oh, I've just realized I've had this screen on the controls this entire time. Can you tell I haven't streamed in like 2 years? My bad. Alright, I'll just very briefly recap what I did there. So we've got our close menu. We're inside the on list items select event handler, and we've just added this tiny snippet here which says if the duck button, which is left control, is pressed, print it to the console, which works. So we know that works. So now what we can do is actually bring up our input. So there is a default, or the externals provide a way of doing it from memory. I think it's something like game game.get user input. I don't know if that's how vMenu does it. We can check. Oh, you can't see that search bar, but get user input common functions. No, okay, so it does implement its own its own version of get user input, but that's okay. I just need to know, can I pass string? And yes, I can. Okay. Sometimes you have to pass a hash there. I wonder if they're doing that at runtime. Yes, they are. Get text entry, window title, blah, 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 blah. Cool. So that's being handled for us. That's one less stress that we have to worry about. So let us put this into practice. Let me just see what the rest of this code actually does here. Fucks up the inheritance space. Yeah, nice. There's a lot of good comments in vMenu. It's quite entertaining. Skip fair features. Okay. So I think what we'll do here is just a simple if else. If is control pressed, words are hard, then do our thing and return. We don't want to actually execute any of this code if we're holding down control. Alright, so now we need to get the user input and convert it to an integer. So user input is going to be a string, unfortunately. So what we can do is string user input equals get user input. Make sure that's our common function. Yes, it is. What do we need to pass? Max and full length window title. Okay, we'll do window title, enter. Ooh, what do we call it? Drawable option, I guess. Drawable ID. I think we'll call it drawable ID for now, just to be consistent. Max length. We'll say 4, I think, because if you've got more, that's 1,000. You know what? Just to be safe, we'll do that. But if you have 10,000 clothing items, I think you've probably got problems. Anyway, I'm going to await that, which means this needs to be in basic function. There we go. Alright, so now what we want to do is some validation on this user input before we try to use it. So we'll do if string is null or empty. This input's basically if it's blank, or not int.tryPhrase is it input out int drawable ID, or drawable ID is less than 0, Or... Oh, we need to do a max check too, but I think... Yeah, we'll have to get the list item first, so that'll do for now. And then we'll just do a... I forget how vMenu does their notifications for errors. I'll just do a quick search. Notify.error. I probably could have guessed that. But anyway, notified.error. Invalid input. No, return. Cool. Alright, let's just sanity check that before we get too ahead of ourselves. Edit window. Sorry. Make sure we can still. I'm trying to find something that has a different color. There we go. Yep, cool. So that still works. And now if we do Control and enter drawable ID. 456. Excellent. We try to do one. Hello. 9,999. Oh no, that one's valid. If we try to do like space, that should be excellent. Okay, so what we need to do now that we have this number, actually before we get too excited, we need to validate that the number provided doesn't exceed the maximum number of items. So to do that, I think we're just going to grab the entire list. I'm not sure exactly what it is, so it'll be a var for now. Var items equals, I guess, list item. List item dot items, item data. Oh, items count. Yeah, that's probably what we want. Let's dump that to the console quickly and make sure that returns something sensible. Oh, I need to give it 2, 4, 5, 245 entries. Fantastic. So, just deciding where I want to do this check. Yeah, I think we'll probably just do it in here. We don't really need to do it anywhere else. Drawable ID is more than list items.
Everything changes.
Alright. Alright, so now we probably do need to get the list of all the items. Or actually, let's just see what functions exist on list item. Can we... index? No. We're looking... Oh, here we go. Selected? Nope, that's a getter. We're looking for something that allows us to change the active selection. selection. I want to set current selection. Alright, well, let's have a look at this quickly and just see what it's returning. List index. Okay, can we modify the list index? We can! Okay. Just to do a quick and dirty test, let's try setting the list index to the global ID. I forgot to change the screen again. I'm terrible at this. So let's try setting it to 150. Nice. Cool. So that's fine, but obviously that doesn't actually set the mask. But that's okay. To do that, what is the easiest way? Is this just a straight... let's do a diff check. Find out if that's just a straight copy. Knowing vMenu, it probably is just a straight copy paste. No, it is slightly different. Why is it slightly different? Real index plus. Okay, so that's just comments, that's fine. New texture index, get number of texture variations. Oh, because it's changing the texture. Yeah, okay, that's fine. We don't need to worry about that because when we set the index of the list, it's always going to be the first texture variation, which is 0 anyway. So, with that in mind, what we will do is take all of this and put it in a new function that we can call void change list item. Yeah, change this item. No, why do they have real index? What is what is real index in this context? Item index. Yeah, I don't know why they called it real index. That's weird. Okay, so we'll say it's an int item index. New selection index. There we go, and then the list item itself, which is a menu list item. Yeah, where's menu list item? List item. Grand. So then we just need to plug this in up here. Real index. New selection index and list item. Cool. And then we want to call that again down in here, except the real index, quote unquote. Oh no, sorry, real index will change its name because that's the real index is this. It's like which menu item, body, etc. As opposed to the new drawer or the new selection index, or in this case our drawable ID, which is the actual item, like shoe item or upper body item or whatever we want to change. So let's give that a try. Should be a giant lemon. Woohoo! Nice. Perfect. Perfect. Alright. I think that's pretty much it. That was pretty much the size of the suggestion. I guess we can also do this for, well, theoretically, we could also do it for the appearance options, but I just know from experience that the way the appearance options menu is populated is complex in Word, so I might leave that alone. And there's also, like, there's not hundreds of options here, so it's not that bad. Face options, that's all sliders. Tattoo options. I suppose there's, oh wow, okay, 725 magic overlays. Alright, I guess we're doing it for the tattoo options as well. Alright, so where are our tattoo options? Tattoo menu. Find the on item select event handler. Excuse me, on list item select. Important distinction, because menu API, which is the menu library that vMenu is built on top of, has a distinction between on item select and on list item select, which is actually kind of helpful, but is at times a bit frustrating if you get the two mixed up. So it seems to change. Ooh, this is a complicated event handler. Okay, well, let's just try copying and pasting what we already had. We can go from there. I'll let the lists be created if they're not. That's probably important. So this needs to be an async function. Drawable ID will change to tattoo ID, I guess. Yeah, tattoo ID. Tattoo. I was looking at that like, I don't think that's right. Okay, so much of the same. We want to make sure it's not empty. We want to make sure it's a number. We want to make sure it's less than 0. But does this start at 1? Yes, this starts at 1. Just a little bit different. So we got to adjust our selection there. I suspect the item count. List item. Yes. I don't know. Yeah. I suspect if we actually dump this to the console, it's going to be +1 of what we would expect. So there's 30 there, but I reckon it's actually 31. Let's confirm. We'll just comment out that stuff for now. You forgot I was streaming. Ouch. No, it's alright. That's okay. I forgive you. Ooh. 2092. Is that what we're working on presently? No. Alright, well, I think that's a problem for another day. Actually, I've got a tattoo test. Yeah, I do. How about that? Nice. Tattoo options. Oh, no, it is 30. Okay. I take it back. So that's fine in that case. So we've done our check to make sure it's not less than 1, but our durable more than item count can stay as it is. Now we just need to update this to item, which will change the correct selection. Now this is where it gets tricky. Trying to correctly set the tattoo. We were lucky before because we just had one function that handled every selection, and I keep forgetting to change the screen. Goodness me. But now every tattoo looks like it's handled slightly differently. I wonder if I'm just going to be lazy and if I can refire the event. What's actually happening here? Tattoo is male. Get the tattoo collection of the head. Tattoo collection name tattoo. Head contains remove add. Okay, so that's actually all MP-paired collection data storage stuff. That's not actually applying the tattoo. I guess that's what this function does, apply save tattoos. Wow. Yeah, I hate that. Why? Huh? What? What? Oh, it's for each loops. Okay. I thought these were if statements, and I'm like, why? Each condition is identical. No, it's okay. You could probably still just do one giant concatenation, but anyway, that's not what we're here to do today. Okay, but it applies the tattoo based off of the saved value, which is what this stuff down here does. So, tattoo name, tattoo index. I wonder if I get rid of this return and instead I do tattoo index equals drawable ID, and then I just let it deliberately run outside that if statement. I wonder if that will work. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way. It saves me refiring that event, which is kind of not what we want to do if we can avoid it. So, two options. Okay, so tattoo 1 is a skull. Let's remember that. Tattoo ID 1. Oh, because we're starting at 1, our input actually needs to be decreased by 1, which is a little bit annoying. How do I want to handle that? I would rather not have to handle that. I guess I literally just need to do drawable ID and decrease the value of the drawable ID. Let's give that a try. Hey, there we go. And tattoo 1. Nailed it. Okay, cool. That works. Tattoo 300. Am I bothered to change the text input if it's a badge as opposed to a tattoo? Maybe. Probably. If menu ID is 6, let's just put that in a boolean at the top to try and be better. Is badges item equals menus. Yeah, cool. If it's a badges item, then say, oh, actually we can be more specific than that. Enter badges item, badge, otherwise tattoo. You're gonna get upset and make me, yeah, you are. Classic C#, there we go. And then down here, we'll do if is badges item. We can give it a comment, because that is explanatory. Or self-explanatory, rather. Excellent. Enter badge. Perfect. Alright. Are there any other ones we need? Clothes, that's done. Props. Yeah, we should probably do it for props as well. Alright. I realised I didn't have the screen up before, so just very quickly, all I've done here is said it's a badges item if the menu selection is 6. If it's a badge item, then change the word to badge, otherwise do tattoo. So that's pretty easy. So pretty simple, rather. Alright, last but not least, props menu, prop menu. Look for our event handler on a, once again, on list item change. No, on list item selects, yes. Come in here. We'll take our copy paste code. There we go. Make that an async function. Who's at the prop? Now, what has happened here? So we have a no prop entry, but we also have a prop 0. Why is vMenu so inconsistent with the way it handles it? It does my head in, man. Oh my goodness. Okay. I guess -1 can be no prop. So we want to change this from if it's less than 0 to less than -1. So anything -2 and below inclusive is bad. Dribble ID is more than the item count. That should be fine. And then we actually need to increase our dribble ID because -1 becomes 0, 0 becomes 1. No, that doesn't work. Because 0 is a valid value. God damn it! But hold on, no, if I enter 0, I actually mean 1. So, no, it does work. I'm just stupid. List item index, drawable ID. Yeah, okay, let's just make sure that works the way I think it works before we get too excited. Alright, I want prop number 50. 51. Damn. -1 is 0. So I'm entering 50, it's increasing the value by 1. But if I don't increase the value by 1, yep, 0. Yeah. Problem, make 1. No problem. What? Why does that work? Why? I'm so confused. I'm not decreasing the value. That's just working of its own accord. You know what? I'm not going to ask questions that I don't really want to know the answer to. It works, and that's the important part. Anyway, I think we're gonna cheat and do the same thing we did before and just do list index. I think is the pair. Yeah, and we'll just do list index equal ID. It's important to. Oh, didn't change the screen again. God. It's important that we actually update the value of this variable, because even though we're updating the list index of the item, this variable is not a reference variable or whatever it's called. It's static at this point, constant rather. So we're gonna update that as well. But yeah, that should work just fine. I'm doing in the chat. Excellent. It's changing the. It is changing the texture. Not a huge problem, but like not ideal either, and that's not accepting Meg 1 because I probably didn't update. Oh no, I did. I feel like that worked like just a minute ago. Oh, it is. The menu is changing, but the actual prop itself is not. I wonder why that is. Huh. Because if I set this to 0, that is a valid entry. Having the code up would probably help. Is it prop index? Real index. Again, the real index thing. Clear pet prop index. If it's more than adorable. What if it's less? Alright, let's come back. Let's circle back to that in a minute. Let's do our color change. What I want to know is when I'm hitting enter on the input window, is it actually refiring this event? Because in the background the thing is still open. Let's find out. Open, I will pop ID 50. No, it is just doing it one time. Okay, well that's good actually, I prefer it like that. So what that means is oh, I'm a numpty. No, this isn't. We don't actually want this code to run. I'm being silly because when we run this code, all we're doing is changing the texture. That is not the intended outcome of our flow. We want this to run. So we'll get this quickly, throw it in a function. Void change prop. What did I call the other one? Change list item. That's very non-specific. Let's fix that up quickly. Change that to change clothing list item rather. And then we need to go back to our props, which was down here. change prop list item. Is it list index? I've already forgotten what real index is meant to be. Yeah, it's just item index. Oh my god, I need to remember to change the screen, jeez. Real index, and then we'll rename all the references to item index. We also need the int new selection index and the list item, excuse me, menu list item. List item, here we go. Cool. Throw that in up here. Real index as opposed to fake index. List item. There we go. Okay, and then we want to run it down here as well. Change prop list item. Real index. Drawable index because that's our new selection, and list item. And that should be all we need. The tattoos were different. The tattoos we did want to go through and bypass that if, well not bypass, sorry, go through and continue through past the if statement. Because with the tattoos you have to press enter to actually enable and disable them, as opposed to these, to the clothing and the props, which behave differently because there is zero consistency in this damn resource. I talk a lot of smack, but I love vMenu. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't be working on it. Alright, 50. Woohoo! 0. Woohoo! Make 1. Updates the hat helmet, but not the actual prop. I wonder what's up with that. Do I just need to clear the pet prop? Maybe that's what I do. I reckon I manually clear the pet prop just for that specific instance. So if drawable ID is -1, clear pet prop index, where pet prop or prop index is real index, and then return. That should be fine. And I just lost my open folder. Womp womp. There we go. Prop 100. Cool. 50, cool. Number 1, great. Number 0, great. -1. Perfect. Perfect. And that's pretty much it. I think that'll do nicely. Cool. Alright, well, that seems like as good a spot as any to dip out. We'll call that a day. I'll get that pushed and on a development branch for vMenu, where anyone is welcome to go and download it and give it a test. If you find a problem with the development build, please do let me know, either in my Discord, the vMenu Discord. Maybe not an issue on GitHub, we'll keep that for production problems, but if you have a production issue with vMenu, definitely an issue, bug issue on GitHub would be good. Other than that, I think we'll call it. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.